is tattoo culture in China?
I was like 17.
17?
Yes, I got the first tattoo by myself. The whole society is becoming more tolerant.
In my hometown, tattoo culture is growing. It's just like a flower like this, but in China it's like that.
Hello and welcome to this edition of Crossover. I'm Ji Xiaojun with Yi.
So we have a very interesting topic today, and tattoos, tattoo culture in China.
I mean, I can't believe there is even a conference going on actually in Beijing. Not far from Beijing though.
There was the Beijing International Tattoo Convention this year.
Take a look at these pictures. It's such a huge crowd, and ooh.
And we're not just talking one tattoo, two tattoos, we're talking full body tattoos. And because tattoos, it's really become a big phenomenon here in China.
Well, I'm seeing more and more actually people wearing tattoos and all these permanent stuff, not the stickers, you know, you can wash away, yeah.
And not hiding them. I mean, parading down Stanley Twin in Beijing and showing them off.
That's right. That's actually joining us in the studio our three guests. We have Xiaolong. You can see, obviously, he is a tattoo bearer. Can I say that? Or you're actually a tattoo artist, right?
Yeah.
You have your own studio.
Yeah, I have my studio.
He's one of the first tattoo artists in Beijing and in China. So welcome, Xiaolong.
Thank you.
I'm sure lots of stories to share with us today. Doctor?
Dr. Paul Yin,
Hi.
psychologist. Hello.
Hi, hello.
Do you have any tattoos on you now?
No.
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 Yeah.
I have considered it many times, though.
You thought about it,
No,
seriously?
but not yet.
Not yet.
Not
yet. It might still happen in the future, right? Alice is a fashion consultant.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
I've been a journalist here since 2008, and I have a fashion consultancy called Anywhere Style.
Right.
Tattoos?
Not yet, but maybe at the end of this show, who knows? So.
I mean,
Xiaojun, what about you? Tattoos on this?
well, the correct answer could be not yet.
Yeah.
I don't know, but definitely not. Maybe not in my case.
Maybe Xiaolong can help us later. So.
Maybe not. But actually, he's one of our colleagues. He's very much interested.
Yes, and actually, we sent one of our colleagues to a tattoo studio. Let's see what he's going to do there.
Hi everyone, I'm Jeffrey and I'm standing right outside one of the most professional and popular tattoo studio in Beijing. And I'm really excited and nervous today because I'm getting a tattoo. So I heard that Nicolas Cage and his son even get a tattoo done here, so I'm pretty confident that there won't be any unwanted surprises. And with me, Yogi, who assists all the tattoo artists to do their masterpieces. Hi Yogi, thank you for being with us.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah, so Yogi, I think my nerves have calmed. Let's go in.
Let's go.
Go. Hi, so everybody, this is my lovely tattoo artist Jia. Hi Jia, 你好. So Jia is actually the one who gave Nicolas Cage the tattoo. And today I'm going to have the tattoo right on my leg. So let's get back to the studio right now, and I will see you later.
All right, Jeff.
Well, definitely we're going to see you later, Jeff.
Brave soul, I think.
I don't know if it is because of his love for tattoo, or is it because Nicolas Cage once was there, you know, I don't know. But anyway,
well, I think the discussion in the meeting was really funny because we talked about which colleague was going to go to the tattoo studio, and Jeff was like, me. All right, when we come back, we're going to talk more about tattoo culture in modern China. Stay tuned.
Did you consult your parents at all at the time?
My parents came in. Well, that's like now, with the younger generation, they're more willing to express themselves.
Before it was like a mark of an outsider, and now, you know, people all over the world have tattoos.
Welcome back to Crossover. Xiaolong, that's the studio, right? But you're an artist, but before we ask you about your business, I'm more interested actually in your patterns or all these tattoos. When was the first one you had?
Yes, how old were you?
I was like 17.
17?
Yes, I got the first tattoo by myself.
So that's like...
It's out here.
Yeah.
It's like design is like a Superman.
Superman.
Yeah, because I saw the video. I saw the video.
Is that Batman or?
Not this one. No, this one is
the
means
design,
is
right.
like strong, very strong, like a tattoo power. It's
So
like the.
Superman when you were 17.
Yeah.
I'm just curious, what did your parents think when you came home with that tattoo? This
I
was how many years ago?
Like 20, maybe more. I don't know.
20 years ago.
20 years ago.
I was 17.
And did you consult your parents at all at the time?
My parents hate me. Like, what is? Yeah. So.
Totally rebellious.
Because in China,
right?
there weren't many tattoos then. This was 1994, 1993, 1994.
Yeah, 1994.
And how long did it take for you to have this huge project done?
I still do that.
Still doing it
not
now?
finished yet. Yeah.
You still have
I have reached my whole life.
There's still real estate available.
Because I have more pieces for in the future.
But
I plan to do
the whole process is like you started something like 20 years ago with the first tattoo.
Yeah.
And that's, if we say 20 years ago, in the 90s, it was like in Beijing, when you saw someone with a tattoo, a small one or even a big one, people would be scared away, I guess.
Yeah.
What was the
reaction?
They think I'm bad guy.
The bad guy. You're
Yeah.
the villain in the street.
But I'm not bad guy.
You're not a bad guy.
And it's getting more and more popular. Is that true?
Yeah. Yeah. Right now, really
Doctor,
popular.
how do you see this? I mean, it was natural, right? 20 years ago in Beijing, when you saw someone with tattoos, and then people would be, ugh.
Well, it was unnatural. People were afraid, right?
Well, 20 years ago, I was in the U.S. And a friend went to San Francisco. He was a young Chinese man. He just got promoted to CFO of his company, and he's a very timid, traditional Chinese young man. And he got off the airplane in San Francisco. The first thing he asked me is, where can I get a tattoo?
That's a Chinese guy.
Yeah. And I said, for you? He said, yes, I'm going to put it in a place where people won't see it, but I want to get one. And so
that's a good part.
Yeah.
People won't see it.
Yeah. And so that's when I first noticed that some Chinese people are beginning to get tattoos, but unlike Xiaolong here, they mostly put it in places where people won't see it. Well, he had here where, he had the choice of whether he let them see that
That's like
or
an
not.
Experiment.
Yeah, that was like his, And so that's when it really, I first began to notice Chinese people getting tattoos, and I was really curious why he wanted to get one.
Yeah, interesting. Good question. All right. And did you ask him?
I did ask him, and his answer was more or less what I expected, but I wanted from him rather than theoretically from me. And what he said was, all my life, my parents, my teachers, other people have determined what I do. And also, if I want to do something, they always try to change my mind so that I stay in line with what's being considered normal.
Right.
And now I want to do something that cannot be reversed. I did it, and there's nothing you can do about it.
It's an act of defiance. It's rebellion. It's a little slight rebellion.
Yeah, or maybe it's an announcement that from today on, I am my own man. But he was not confident enough about it so that he wanted to put it in a place where people won't see it. But I think that was telling himself that that's my intention.
I'm now independent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And 10 years later, he got one that's visible to other people. So the first announcement was to himself. The second one was to the world.
So
and now it's more and more popular. We're seeing more and more people showing their tattoos to the world here in China. What do you think that says? Is that type of social taboo? You said before when you had your first tattoo 20 years ago, people thought you were the bad guy. But do you think that social taboo is now waning?
Yeah, I think it's much better now. I think it has to do with, for the whole society, it's becoming more tolerant to people showing people being different, and people showing their own personality, their preferences, and we see that in so many different aspects of society, not just in tattoos, but in fashion, what people wear. The hair, I think it's hair was the first thing that was accepted.
And clothing.
Yeah, and clothing, and not only that, but also in terms of thoughts. I think, like now with the younger generation, they're more willing to express themselves, and they are getting a better audience than my generation or Xiaolong's generation at the same age.
And Alice, is this becoming something fashionable? This is
absolutely. I mean, I think globally, tattoos are incredibly fashionable. You have designers like Marc Jacobs who's covered in tattoos. You have big luxury brands like Valentino and Chanel who use tattoos in their runways or in their adverts. And now supermodels from Kate Moss to Giselle have tattoos. You know, it's not a subversive thing anymore. It's actually considered, you know, before it was like a mark of an outsider, and now, you know, people all over the world have tattoos. One thing I've noticed in China, especially in fashion, is people are trying to be more and more individual. This is in all the creative industries, music, fashion, art. You know, this is a way of them self-expression and to show people who they are and that they're not sort of within the crowd, they're stepping out of the crowd.
Their life. When we come back from the short break, we're going to look at some actual tattoo drawings and talk about which customers like to have which types of drawings.
Yeah.
Please stay with us.
Yeah. Some guy asked me, oh, Dragon, I want to do my girlfriend's name.
You will say, are you sure?
Yes. I asked them many times, you sure?
But I think increasingly in China, I've seen people, it's more a personal thing.
Welcome back to Crossover, but before we continue our conversation, we have to check on Jeff to see how he is doing with his new tattoo. Yeah.
So it looks like they're really busy. They're just getting started. Why don't we not disturb them and we'll check in on them later? Yeah?
I'm just wondering if it is painful or not.
We're waiting for a shriek to come out soon.
We're going to ask him later.
All right, we'll check in with him later.
You've been working and living in Beijing for a few years now, right?
6 years.
6 years
now.
already. So have you also noticed that more young people, say in Beijing or maybe in other parts of the country, have accepted the idea of having some tattoos permanently on their skin?
I've seen a huge transition. Going to fashion events 5 years ago, no one had tattoos. And now I was at a fashion show this week, and actually it was one of the fashion designers is a young stylist and blogger called Cherry Gunn. She's covered in tattoos. And I was sitting
Girls,
there.
even.
Girls.
Okay.
And this isn't just sort of feminine, girly tattoos. This is full chest pieces, full sleeve tattoos. And I was looking around at the audience, and most people had tattoos. And I think this, for me, I think there's a sort of connection with social media, with the increase in tattoos, globally and specifically in China, because I go to these fashion events and the young fashion kids, they're wanting to stand out. They want street photographers to take their photos. And they started out with their clothes and with their hair, but now that's not enough. Now they're getting piercings and tattoos because they want to stand out. So it's getting more and more extreme.
Let's do something that'll set us apart from anybody else. And let's shock the public, and so that I could be on Weixin or I could be on WeChat and I could.
But the thing is, with hair, with your clothes, you can always have them changed, right? If you're not happy with the color, okay, next day it's a different one. But with the tattoo, it's permanent.
I think that's what makes it most shocking, right? Well, you know how the tattoos are spreading in China. I mean, it's really a phenomenon here. I mean, and I think it's happened really quickly here in China. Let's take a look at this video clip that we created.
If you want to witness a lifestyle change in contemporary Asia, then come to Beijing. You may have heard of China's explosive economic growth, but its social changes are extreme too. 10 years ago, only a few Chinese would have been brave enough to show off their tattoos in public. But from tattooing your lover's face to covering your entire back, today, body art in Beijing is as hip as a Louis Vuitton bag.
Yeah, I love tattoos. I'm gonna get like everywhere tattooed eventually, on my arms, my legs, my body. Yeah.
就是自己的名字啊，然后弄成这样记录一下呗。就是觉得这图案特别好看，然后因为好多人没有纹重置在身上的习惯，我就觉得比较特别，就给它纹了。
就是诗的意思。因为喜欢瑞安娜，然后她有这个纹身。
Marina Khalchenko is a 27-year-old Russian tattoo artist who had never inked before moving to Beijing. A Chinese artist trained her, and now her tattoo business is very successful.
I wasn't a tattoo artist. I just arrived to Beijing almost 3 years ago, and I found a teacher who helped me to be a tattoo artist. We communicate in Qin English, but it's not really necessary to talk. I think it's just more you look how they drawing, tattooing. I think the Chinese are trying to be less traditional because they still have a pressure from parents. First, I recommend them, like, just try to talk with them, try to explain that it's your body, and like, it's nothing's changed here. In my hometown, tattoo culture is growing. It's just like a flower like this, but in China it's like that already.
However, although acceptance of tattoos is growing and people from all walks of life are getting inked, there are still those who really can't stand inked bodies.
纹身的话不喜欢。
为什么？
因为我觉得不太好看嘛，反正挺怪异的。
纹身对我来讲的话，我是不喜欢，因为人的身体发肤受之父母啊。
当时觉得很酷，不会，我完全不想纹，会后悔，然后以后结婚也很麻烦。
You may or may not like tattoos, but one thing's for sure. This new phenomenon in China is for individuals who don't want to be judged.
So before the break, we were talking about the different drawings, tattoos, drawing. What are you seeing? What's more popular these days?
I think like if people like, for example, okay, travel or like portraits, for some people it's like really special, right? Because for example, like if my son or my mother or my family, the pictures, I want to do something like under the arm, is like portraits, because they want to remember something, right? But some people like, oh, I just want one words, or maybe some like flower, maybe some like butterfly, like that kind of design is like fashion. So I think it's from my customer, it's like fashion. But 8 years ago, I stopped doing that. I don't want to do that butterfly.
Oh, the fashionable ones.
Fashion.
So you can tell, based on what they want, you could tell what type of person the customer is.
Yeah, my customer like different kind, too many.
Are they mostly young people?
Yeah. For example, my girlfriend. My girlfriend come. Oh, I want to do my girlfriend's name. That's not good.
But there's
I don't want to do that because
what if you change your girlfriend?
Yes, exactly. So some guy asked me, oh, Dragon, I want to do my girlfriend's name.
You will say, are you sure?
Yes. I asked them many times, you sure? Or the portraits, or the girl portraits. I asked them.
He's turning into a counselor, a relationship counselor.
Like that's Alice's job.
Right.
Doctor, I mean, it seems there is some slight difference between Chinese practices and maybe some practices in other countries.
In the beginning, the reason for getting a tattoo thousands of years ago was very simple. And now there's so many different ways for different reasons. And it's not so much about shock anymore. Because I think two very important influences we have to think about. One that is not just about the fashion industry or just young people. For instance, one I want to mention is the NBA. It's different generations of people, they all watch NBA basketball, and they watch all these players that have tattoos all over their bodies.
Huge influence.
Right? People like, like Iverson, Allen Iverson, and so on. And the other, one single person, I think, is also very important in this, David Beckham. Because even the young people, their parents, even their grandparents, like David Beckham
because a good guy.
Because he's a good guy. He's a family man. He's not a gangster.
Yeah.
And it was interesting that over the years, he'd get a new tattoo every few years, and then it becomes a big event, and people, they show the picture and say, oh, David Beckham got another tattoo. He got one on the back of his neck, or he got one on his chest. And so it's like slowly over these years, not just the radical young people, but the whole society are beginning to see tattoo in a different light.
It's like we're beginning to be desensitized to them. You know, it's like it's pervasive out there. It's,
just a normal, good family man can get tattoos.
But I think also
what do you think,
have, you know, Angelina Jolie and also Rihanna in the clip. The girl got the same tattoo. And I think, you know, as Xiaolong was saying, you'll always have the people anywhere in the world that will go in and say, I want what that celebrity has, or I want this picture from a book. But I think increasingly in China, I've seen people, it's more a personal thing. It's something that they've really thought about, something that they will design along with the artist to create something completely unique and not just copied from someone else.
I have noticed that internationally and also in China, a lot of people will get religious tattoos. They might have the cross, they might have the Virgin Mary, they might have Ganesh or some sort of Hindu god on their body. Even a Chinese person. Why? These people are obviously not Hindu or Christian or, you know, any sort of other religion. Do you feel like, one, why do you feel like they get them? And two, do you feel like it might be offensive to people who really believe in that religion?
I do know some people, religious people, who are somewhat offended by this, because most people, I think most Christians actually do not get a cross tattooed to their body.
They wear a cross.
Yeah, they would wear a cross. And that's where I think I really respect Xiaolong, not just as a tattoo artist, but I think he has gone to the next level. It's not just what the customer wants, and I do the tattoo and you pay me the money, but instead I help you consider things that you may have missed. Things like permanency. Have you really thought about this? Or what does this mean to you? And what would this mean to your loved ones, the people around you? And also, I think as an artist, sometimes I wouldn't be surprised if sometimes he would suggest designs, or sometimes as an artist, he also expresses himself instead of just putting something that the customer wants. And I think that brings the art of tattoo to a, for lack of a better word, to a higher level.
I'm sure there's lots of people in the world that wish they had you as their tattoo artist to stop them from making the wrong decisions.
Exactly.
Have somebody come to you saying they want a tattoo, and maybe you realize they wanted a tattoo for all the wrong reasons. Have you ever talked to anybody out of getting a tattoo?
Like a teacher talk to student.
Yeah.
Small thing and anything I have to talk to first, and then they need a sign. To sign the paperwork, something. And I have to ask them what kind of tattoo you really want, and they say some like I want something or something. But sometimes I talk to people. If I don't want to do that, I have to talk to. Sorry, I don't want to do that. For example, they want to like girlfriend's name, something. Yeah, like girlfriend portrait, something. I just talk to straight. I don't want to do that because one day you have to change.
So you don't really just see it as a business.
Yeah. Well, I do business not important. Not important.
But isn't it true now that you could get tattoos removed?
Painful. That's even more painful than doing a tattoo, is it?
Is it more painful?
Yeah. More.
Much more.
Much more.
Much more painful to get it removed. Okay. And it doesn't, and it scars.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Really painful.
So one more reason for you to consider more whether you would like to have a tattoo or not.
Consider it seriously.
Yeah.
It's really serious.
All right. When we come back, we're going to talk more about tattoo culture in modern China. Stay tuned.
And it's very interesting that tattoo actually went to Japan from China. And that's not what a lot of people know about.
Minorities, I think, many of them are still in the tribal culture stage where tattoo was perfectly acceptable.
Welcome back to Crossover. Well, we say tattoo is not new, actually, historically speaking, not new in China. You mentioned the origin,
yes.
You know, started from the tribal years, and we've also heard that famous legend, the Yue story, and his mother once actually did a tattoo on his back to show
there's a video there.
Their determination.
Yeah.
This is a movie.
To serve the country. Yue is a marshal from Song Dynasty about 1,000 years ago. Yeah. I guess the technique was different from what you apply these days, right? I guess. But that's one of the most famous stories that we've heard about tattooing in Chinese history.
And I think that's fascinating to me. I mean, during the course of preparing for this interview, I learned that, you know, the origins, like you said, the origins of tattoo go way back. It goes to the Aborigines, the tribal culture. In China, it goes way back as well. We found an American researcher. She's a professor. She teaches in the United States Chinese literature, but she's actually done a lot of extensive research about tattoos in early China, reading historical texts. We did a Skype interview with her because she couldn't be here today in Beijing. Let's hear what she had to say. Hello, Professor Reed. Thank you for joining us all the way from the United States. So where can we find evidence of tattoos in early China, and what were they used for?
We have texts. We do not obviously have any pictures. We don't have photographs. We don't have paintings really of tattoos, but we have texts from probably 700s, the 8th century BCE. There are about 7 types of tattoos that are recorded in early texts. One of them is for Chinese people of the Han people to demarcate people who are not like them. They would be what we would call minorities now probably, and they were people who squatted on their heels and ate with their hands and had various body piercings and tattooed their bodies, often complete full body tattoo. And then the second thing would be punishments, and from the very, very earliest time we have both of these kinds of descriptions. Punishments for robbery, for adultery, for things like that. There were, in the earliest text, it says 1,000 types of punishments of crimes that tattoo could be the punishment for. They are all, for most writers in ancient China, I would say they're all heavily stigmatized. They're all negative. Confucius said you should leave your body your entire life as your parents gave it to you. This is one of the most essential tenets of the classic of filial piety, and everyone knows that you should not, you know, even up until 20 or 30 years ago, piercing your ears was considered odd, or tattoos would have been a shameful thing. And the most interesting kind of tattoo is that doesn't have a negative stigma, and that is voluntary decorative tattoos that apparently many people had.
What technique did they use?
The person would create a stamp with either putting needles in, probably clay, and then taking that stamp and stamping you on your body instantaneously with every single needle that you need. So you only have to go through the pain once, and then rubbing ink of various colors into it. And once the wound had healed, it was finer than in the pattern book originally. So it looked like a painting. And so that means that there was really widespread tattoo. And it also means that, you know, anybody on the street could get one if they wanted to, which is something really outrageously strange. But I believe that tattoo has come back to China from the West and from Japan. And it's very interesting that tattoo actually went to Japan from China. And that's not what a lot of people know about.
So could we say that tattoos came from China?
This type of full body tattoo with the gorgeous dragons, you know, you have the dragons all over your body, or snakes, or fish, and the gods, Buddhist gods, and things like that can be thought to give you power if you have them on your body. This is all definitely from China. Definitely, I got the feeling when I was doing this research that there is, especially for the people who tattooed themselves for their own identity inside their own robes. It was a mark of not necessarily subversive, but it was a mark of defiance in a way of the system. You know, okay, I'll play all the rules, I'll be the good official, but I have a snake all over my body.
Well, thank you so much for the interview, Professor Reed. We really appreciate your insights all the way from the United States.
My pleasure.
Pretty much covered all the points that we had in our discussion, and I'm just happy to see it's from China.
Yeah, well, you know what fascinated me from this interview? One was that, you know, we talked about this mark of the outsider. We talked about the punishment aspect of tattoo, but it seemed like in ancient China, people had voluntary tattoo too. It was that hidden little secret that they had under their robes. The person might have been an official, you know, you never know. But there was this widespread tattoo, you know, centuries ago here in China. And that this type of full body tattoo went from China to Japan and the international world, and now is coming back to China.
And I guess there had to be a go-ahead from the parents before they could do anything. I mean, in ancient times. Otherwise, it's against the filial piety principle. You know, because it's still a shameful thing to do if you destroy your skin.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I mean, from her, what she was saying was that they would hide it. They would do it themselves, and they would hide it.
Exactly. In ancient times, tattoo actually is more popular than people think. It's just that nobody see it. Yeah. They did it for themselves. It's not for anybody else to see. It's like, in a way, it was like that young professional that I mentioned who went to San Francisco and wanted to get a tattoo and put it in a place where nobody would see it. Which is a very ancient Chinese way of doing it. And now they're letting people see it.
Now, traditionally, historically speaking, is it mainly Han people or ethnic minorities in China?
Well, ethnic minorities, I think, many of them are still in the tribal culture stage where tattoo was perfectly acceptable.
Like Li people in Hainan.
Yeah, and not only acceptable, it's part of the culture, and it serves important functions. Such as, adulthood, you get a certain tattoo, or you get to a certain level in the society as a mark of your station. There may be a tattoo, so it's part of the culture. And but those minority cultures, of course, in ancient times, the Han Chinese considered that, barbarian culture, and so it's just always different.
Alice, the interview, what we took away from this interview, is it surprising to you as somebody who's not from China?
Well, absolutely. I mean, I think, as I was discussing earlier, it's about status. It's a big symbol of self-expression, whereas what she was saying is it really was an intimate, personal thing that their parents didn't even know about, and I think that is fascinating.
All right, well, when we come back, and we've got to check in with Jeff, so when we come back, we're going to talk more about tattoo culture and check in and see how our colleague is doing at the tattoo studio. Stay tuned.
A lot of people that we say addicted to tattoo, actually it's the progression of different psychological needs.
I do think the floodgates open, though. After you've gone through one, you can think, right, let's just get them all.
Welcome back to Crossover. Now we have to check on Jeff to see how he's doing with his new tattoo. He's still working on it.
Jeff?
Ooh, I can.
Oh, hi, Yi and Xiaojun. Hello. I'm having a great time here.
Is it painful?
No, it's not painful. It's, actually it's kind of weird because I definitely know there's something going on down there on my skin, but I have no idea what it looks like or how it's going to be. But I'm pretty sure, and I'm not worried at all, because I'm having a tattoo from the tattoo artist that Nicolas Cage trusts. And I have this photo of two of them together. You can see the tattoo on his arm, and it's a dragon. Pretty cool, huh? So, Jaja, can you tell me something that, how was Nicolas Cage like when he first came here?
大家，你可以跟我说一下尼古拉斯凯奇来的时候，你对他的印象是什么呢？
看上去很酷，但是沟通起来他的人给人感觉是很随和的那种。
So Jojo told me that Nicolas Cage looked super cool when he first came here, but he's super easygoing.
and he trusted Jia very much. So Jia, how's your tattoo business going so far in Beijing?
大家，你可以跟我说一下你的纹身工作室现在的发展情况吗？现在纹身的人越来越多了，就是各行各业的，大家对这个纹身的这个接受度已经很高了。
So Jia said that there are more and more people came here for tattoo, and now people think tattoo is an art, no longer something that belongs to the bad guys on the street.
Is it the first on you?
No, it's actually my second one. I have the first one on my chest. And then, you know what? I'm thinking about getting the third one because I think I get addicted to it.
We might need a follow-up.
Right.
Yeah, I agree totally. So let's get back to the studio and I will show you what I get later.
All right,
okay?
Good luck.
Bye.
All right. Well, he mentioned the word addicted. Is it likely that people are going to be addicted to getting more tattoos or what?
I think so.
You do?
Yeah.
You yourself is an example.
Yeah.
You're an example, right?
Yeah.
There is a psychological effect to all of this, though. It's almost as if you get the first one, you get past the fears of pain, that fear of permanency, and then maybe you get a second or a third.
Yeah. Really important thing is if you do tattoo, you're doing is I finish the tattoo, the design is beautiful, and for him or for the people, for girl, whatever, it's beautiful, and they say, oh, at time when they want to show, they show people,
right.
So for example, show friends say, oh, that's beautiful tattoo. And they're thinking about, oh, I want to get a second
one.
Sounds like plastic surgery. Hey, you have a nice nose. Yeah, what about my lips?
Dr. Ian, what do you think about this?
Really important.
Yeah, well, I think what happens a lot of times is people get their first tattoo for different reasons. Let's say, for instance, a person who got the first tattoo was as a sign of defiance. I'm an adult now, I'm independent, I can do what I want. But after they got the first one, then other reasons begin to come in. They no longer need to make that statement.
Yeah.
But however, as Xiaolong said, someone said, oh, that looks so cool.
Yeah.
You know, there are people, you know, who like it, who think that it looks good on me.
Right.
So then he might want to get a second one because he thinks it's, you know, it looks good because it's cool.
Yeah.
Or it could be that he began to appreciate it as art. The first one was not from artistic standpoint.
Exactly.
But now he began to appreciate this art.
Yeah.
So a lot of people that we say addicted to tattoo, actually it's the progression of different psychological needs.
I do think the floodgates open, though. After you've gone through one, you can think, right, let's just get them all. I know very few people.
You're still thinking about your first step, right?
No, it's like the first one satisfied one particular psychological need, and then they found this outlet that other psychological needs can be channeled this way as well.
How painful is it?
Actually, it's...
Jeff said it's not painful.
He said, yeah.
Okay.
Is it not
I don't
painful
believe him.
Yeah.
I talk to you exactly. Actually, it's like a burn, you know, the hot, more hot. And which burn, like boom, you know. It's like a really small knife.
A sharp needle.
Sharp,
Which one is more painful, acupuncture and tattoo?
Tattoo is not really painful.
So
not
acupuncture
really,
is more painful.
Not really.
All right.
Because this is really small, the needles like just keep a little bit like that.
A little shock.
Yeah,
a little shock. Yeah.
Okay. And it depends on the part of the body as well. Some parts are a bit more durable than others.
Which parts of the body hurt the most?
Yeah. For me, it's here. Really close to the heart.
Part,
Here. Oh, here. Second is here. That's it.
Back to the cleanliness. China, and I know this is a new kind of industry in China again. What sort of, are there standards for each tattoo? Like, is there an industry standard in China where the tattoo studios all need to get licensed and pass?
Yeah, we need it. Yeah. I get the license from the U.S., from the New York City. I get the license.
Does it
but
work?
I have license for the international. For the,
right, like a certification.
So I can work at the U.S., I can work in Europe. So I have the license. But I hope a lot of artists working in Beijing or China, in the future they get the lesson.
Right.
I need to say that.
In other words, not everyone has a license now in China.
I think so.
A friend of mine who has a boutique here in Beijing was telling me 10 years ago he'd just arrived, was desperate for a tattoo, and because tattoo artists then couldn't really advertise their services, so he had to call a dodgy guy, go down a random hutong. This guy wouldn't kind of come out on the street, walked in, and then it was, a completely kitted out tattoo parlor. And I think that's, it's incredible, the transition now. You go into Gulou and you have coffee shops that also masquerade as tattoo parlors right there. So there's been a massive transformation.
But I guess the important thing is to make sure that tattoo studio has some sort of certification and hygiene standards, so to speak. So Alice, you've heard, for the last 40 minutes we've been talking about tattoos. You don't have one yet.
I don't.
You said you have always been thinking about one and considering one.
Is that a
what would
yes,
you get if you were going to get a tattoo? And where would you put it?
To be honest, the reason why I haven't had one yet is because I haven't loved something enough to have it permanently.
Go to Xiaolong's studio.
I've already told him, whenever I make the decision, I'll go straight to him.
Right.
Okay.
How about thinking about it? Yeah. Doctor, what about your children? And you said your.
Well, actually, my 6-year-old just last week asked me if she could get a tattoo.
What would you say?
Well, she wanted a Hello Kitty.
Hello Kitty.
What did you say then?
Well, I told her, I said, I can get you a temporary one.
A sticker.
A sticker. And she said, well, that will do for now.
Okay, 10 years later, it's going to be a different story.
Yeah, exactly.
But I guess you would be that open-minded father, right?
I think I will be, and also I think we need to. I will teach my daughter exactly what Xiaolong is teaching himself, which is both the artist and the customer think responsibly.
Yeah.
About making the decision about what to do, how to do it.
Yeah.
And as long as you do that, then I think it's fine.
Yeah, it's all right for her to tattoo her father's name, but not her boyfriend's name.
That's a good point.
So I think Jeff is finished at the studio. And he wants to show us our tattoo. Shall we take a look?
Let's take a look.
Yeah?
Wow. It's hot, right?
Jeff!
It's hot.
Ooh, hi.
Yeah.
Oh, I have to say, it's such a bitter and sweet experience. And I actually love my new tattoo so much. And I hope you enjoy tattooing with me and watching me get my tattoo.
It looks like a feather with birds. Jeff, cool.
Well, good luck. I wish to see it.
We should have asked to see his first one, too.
Right. Well, yeah. We haven't asked him to show that yet.
So what do you think? This whole 45 minutes we've talked about tattoos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very nice. You guys do it. Bye-bye.
All right. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you.
And all the best wishes to your business and to your art.
Now we know where to go if we need a tattoo in China, in Beijing. All right. Thanks to our viewers at home for tuning in. We'll see you next weekend on Crossover.
Goodbye.